Hello and welcome to Off Chain. My name is Jimmy Song, and today is November 14th, 2017. We have a lot of news today, and I have a special guest, Tone Vase. Tone, do you want to say hi?
Sure. How are you guys? Good to be on. Glad you got your own channel, Jimmy. It's awesome.
We have a lot of news today. All right. Is your mic okay? Just checking.
Should be.
All right, great. So let's take a look at some stuff that's going on. All right, so this is Gregory Maxwell's post to the dev mailing list. And he's been talking about confidential transactions for a while. But one of the things that Tone and I saw at Scaling Bitcoin at Stanford was Benedict Bunz's paper on compact range proofs. He's extremely excited about bringing compact range proofs to Bitcoin, possibly via SegWit version 2 or something like that, which would allow you to basically have completely confidential transactions and be able to prove the range with a very small amount of bytes. And that's really exciting. And you can I don't know if you read Gregory Maxwell's writing that much, but you can kind of really tell he's very excited about this. And this is probably something that's going to come to Bitcoin like in a year or two. But if we have completely confidential transactions, that will definitely change the game. All right, you can take a look at the mempool right now. Let me just refresh to make sure. Yeah, this is the past 2 weeks. You can still see like we're still higher than it was before. But it's starting to come down. I think the peak yesterday was around around there, like 125,000 mempool transactions. We're down to less than 100,000. So we're definitely making some progress as more miners come back to Bitcoin. Yeah, this is a big story that's happening. Apparently, China may cut off cheap power to Bitcoin miners, and this would be a big deal, obviously, because they're getting something like 3 cents per kilowatt hour. That rate is available around the world. For example, you can get that in Washington State, some parts of Canada, and so on. But like China's power, they're not going to give this cheap power to Bitcoin miners quite as cheaply. So that may mean that a lot of these mining farms may be relocating. It's possible that they may just pay it out. The profit margins are high enough, I think, that they can deal with a slightly higher price for these. It really depends on what they actually mean and whether they're intending to cut off mining completely. All right, so this guy, Ramit Sethi, I got some random email from him, and he was sort of making fun of Bitcoin, saying how it's a terrible investment. And I know he's he makes money doing his thing, so I challenged him to a $10,000 bet. Ramit, if you're watching, that bet is good. And I have investors that would love to bet way more than I am. I only put in said 10,000. They said they would be willing to take the other side of the bet, however much you want. So yeah, I want to call this guy out for kind of being a moron about this. So yeah, let's see if he responds. All right, I wanted to point out something. This is more Tone's territory with the price, but I want to show you this. These numbers in the corner. Difficulty currently is 1.4 trillion or thereabouts, and the next difficulty is about 1 trillion. That sort of indicates that about the difference between the two, about that much hash power has sort of left Bitcoin. So everyone's kind of wondering what happened to about that 30 or 40% of hash power that was on there, but that has clearly left or something. And maybe part of the story is this Chinese mining story. Maybe some of them just shut it off because it was no longer profitable. I continue to get a lot of comments about my article from yesterday, SegWit 2x postmortem, divorce of crypto Austrians and crypto Keynesians. I don't know how many people on Bitcoin Cash are saying you got it exactly backwards or whatever. like I said in the article, I'm only defining the terms in a way because Keynesians like to have more velocity of money. Austrians like savings and stuff like that. That's why I labeled them that way. If you're offended, I'm sorry, but like this my article. You don't get to define things for me. But hey, if any of you want to debate me or something, come on my show. We can figure something out. Contact me via Twitter. All right, next one. Bitcoin Cash is they did a hard fork yesterday, and they are currently at it is 30% more profitable to mine on the original chain, and you can see sort of like the blocks having slowed down. There was a period where they were finding like 12 or 13 blocks an hour. Now they're slowing down. It's like 5 blocks in the 6-7 blocks in the last 4 hours or so, despite their new difficulty adjustment algorithm. It doesn't adjust all that quickly. So we'll see how this actually works out, because they're using median time pass. So it takes about 6 blocks to really correct for any sort of big difficulty swings, which was the problem before. So I'm not sure how they're going to continue to fix it. This is fork.law. Let's reload this to show where sort of the hash rate is. You can see that over the weekend, Bitcoin Cash actually had more hash rate than Bitcoin. And then yesterday, when they did the hard fork, it increased again because it was slightly more profitable. Now it's not profitable, so it's going down again. So I mean, we're going to see this sort of interplay between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash for a while now.
Yeah, Jimmy, go back to that one. Go back to that one.
Yeah.
If you go to rewards,
and
getting an echo.
Yeah, let me put on my headphones. Give me 1 second.
You go to rewards and you go to inflation.
Sorry, what you want me to go to?
Rewards and then inflation.
Oh, inflation.
Yeah, that's the one I like looking at, because it really shows you when they start doing their insta mining and how quickly it ramps up, and that's that dotted line.
Yeah,
the blue dotted line is the inflation rate.
Yeah, so it did sort of jump as soon as the hard fork happened yesterday, but it's come back down largely because it's not really profitable. And it takes like 6 blocks because they're using median time passed and not the timestamp of the thing, of the actual block. So, we'll see how that ends up working. This is the Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin. There was sort of a mini pump yesterday. It came back down. I'll let Tone talk more about this stuff. There is a new repo called Bitcoin-Clashic, and this is apparently the hard fork of Bitcoin Cash that happened yesterday. These are the people that sort of mashed the words classic and cash, and they came up with Classic. Who knows if they'll actually mine any blocks, but there's at least a repo, and we'll see what happens with that. But so far, there's at least somebody that's interested in the original Bitcoin Cash. Whether or not this actually gets mined is anyone's question. All right, so Vitalik Buterin wrote this tweet: "I consider BCH a legitimate contender for the Bitcoin name. I consider Bitcoin's failure to raise block sizes to keep fees reasonable to be a large, non-consensual change to the original plan, morally tantamount to a hard fork, and 2, Thamos' censorship." Yeah, this is a guy that's got his own coin, got his own agenda. And of course, he steps into Bitcoin politics whenever he feels like it. Thank you for your thoughts, Vitalik, but you don't have a say in our community. Sorry.
He has his own central coin to plan out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he says crap like this. Yeah.
Right. But here's what bothers me, right? It's like all of these guys, it's like, I'm not sure, like some of them are supposed to be generally smart, right? Mm-hmm. And like why do they assume that Greg Maxwell has a magic wand to force everyone to upgrade software?
Yeah, I mean, he's thinking from sort of a centralized viewpoint because it worked for him, right? Like he got to say, hey, you know what, DAO hacks, screw them. code immutability or whatever. And he got to do whatever he wanted because he's the authoritarian dictator of Ethereum. He doesn't get, and he thinks, oh, okay, well, Bitcoin can do the same thing. No, we really can't. We're a very different coin than you guys. We're a very different coin than everybody else in that regard, because almost every other coin has a single person that's like a single source of failure, essentially. So
right, and they think it's all fun and games until they end up in prison for 30 years, like Ross Ulbricht.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to Vitalik. I suspect that he can go to Russia anytime he wants and stay there.
I would love for him to stay in Russia once the Russian version of Ethereum blows up.
Yeah, they're not quite as kind as the U.S. in that regard. All right, so that's Vitalik. This is Bitcoin Cash Plus. This is another hard fork, and they're scheduled to hard fork.
Another hard fork?
Yep, January 2nd, 2018. It's not entirely clear from reading the website. Well, I think it's sort of clear. I think they're hard forking off of Bitcoin. It's very close to Bitcoin Cash, except that they are using Equihash, and they're forking January 2nd, 2018.
Oh, and they're naming it Bitcoin Cash. Oh, I love this. This is awesome. I thought this was Bitcoin Cash forking again. This is a fork of Bitcoin to make it even more confusing for which Bitcoin Cash people are buying.
Something like that, I guess.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah, Bitcoin Cash Plus, and they are saying, hey, we are the true heirs to the Satoshi vision, and we are using Equihash.
What's their stick?
So it's gonna be 8 megabyte blocks.
What got their panties in a bunch? Let's see.
All right, so I think it's 8 megabyte blocks, just like Bitcoin Cash, but they're going to switch the proof of work algorithm to Equihash, which cannot run faster on specialty equipment. And I guess they're gonna add replay protection. They're gonna keep
Are they gonna compete? Are they gonna compete with Bitcoin and Bcash's mining power?
No, because they're switching the proof of work algorithm.
Oh man, so they're more like Bitcoin Gold then.
Yeah, but they're gonna have like the 8 megabyte blocks. It looks like they're gonna do an emergency difficulty adjustment. I don't know. It looks like a complete copy of the Bitcoin Cash website. And they just changed a few words around. I don't know, but
I still like it though. Like I still like it because it'll confuse the Bitcoin Cash brand the way Bitcoin Cash is now confusing the Bitcoin brand. So
I didn't think about that.
I'll probably be in support of this.
But yeah, January 2nd, 2018. We'll see. I mean, Bitcoin Silver's around, all this other stuff. All right, and here is Coin.dance. I just wanted to point out it is about 3 days left until the 2x hard fork. Maybe not. It says it's been called off, but it's possible that there still might be. Hashing power has been a little bit slower, so I suspect that the date that they're showing here on Coin.dance, which is November 17th, 11 a.m. GMT. It's probably going to be a little later than that. But regardless, we'll be watching very closely to see if the 2x hard fork still happens. All right, and this is the website of those people that are saying that they're going to still hard fork off of Bitcoin 2x. The site hasn't been updated since pretty much the day it was made. At least I haven't seen it.
It's not easy to do content. Everybody wants to do everything, Actually doing shit online, like making videos and updating websites, it's not simple unless you have the money to pay 100 people.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work. And I don't know how many people are working on Bitcoin 2x, but they're still exploring different replay protection schemes. I have no idea how they're going to get something in that's like even remotely tested by like, I guess it's Friday. Who knows? We'll see. All right, so that's all the stuff that I had to share. Tone, do you have any price updates or anything like that you want to?
I got a price update, but do you want to explore this Chinese thing a little more? I mean, like, what does that mean? Because we talked about this during the live stream, either the B2X live stream or where we talked a little bit about the conference that we were at, where Bobby Lee refused to answer any questions about 2x. And he was specifically asked a question about Bitcoin mining, and I thought his answer was very, very silly. He completely dismissed the fact that China can ban mining, considering they just banned his exchange. And I thought that was very, very naive of him. But I don't think Bobby Lee has been making very good decisions lately because he's on the Bcash side of things. He just lost his trading operation, even though it looks like other Chinese exchanges are still operating. I think Hobby was reopening or something like that. Don't quote me on that. And he completely dismissed the fact that mining would be, frowned upon by the Chinese government, which I thought was ridiculous, right? It's a monster attack vector. So the question is it good or is it bad for Bitcoin? And I honestly don't know. I can make an argument in either direction.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, to some degree, I think it will result in some sort of decentralization, at least jurisdictional decentralization, because most of it is in China. Let's face it. But that said, I am like sort of putting some pieces together. I have heard of large North American Bitcoin mining operations that were able to get like thousands of Antminers, presumably from China. This may have been sort of in the works for a while now, and they're shipping a lot of this stuff over. Maybe the 30% that's been missing, they're just in transit right now to different parts of the world because some miners got some preview of this ruling from the People's Bank of China or something, and they've been making deals to go sell this stuff, and maybe this mining power is in transit. But that would certainly make a lot more sense.
Right. Now the question is, so here's the thing, right? So because Bcash is a centralized coin, I've been a little careful about calling it China coin. But if they are able to mine Bcash in China, but not Bitcoin, that would totally make it a China coin. That means that China is allowing it because they have control over it. And it's amazing how the people that want more that scream they want decentralization are doing nothing but centralizing. It's really ironic.
Yeah, well, they want decentralized. Well, it was the Bitcoin Gold people that wanted decentralized mining, but yeah, I don't really understand, how they would allow Bitcoin Cash and not Bitcoin, because it's essentially the same sort of operation as far as
not exactly right. One Chinese guy has 60 to 70% of the mining of Bcash, while he doesn't have that kind of control in Bitcoin, even if he does have control over 60 or 70% equipment that was sold.
Yeah, and that would be really interesting. Well, I mean, we don't know who's mining it because it's all unknown on the Bitcoin Cash, I guess Coinbase. It's most of them are unknown.
When they go Instamind, it's 80% known, and it's a Bitmain and its affiliates, right?
I mean, Via BTC has like 6 of the last 7.
Right, but it's open. It's proven that Bitmain is the main investor in Via BTC. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin.com is as well. I mean, that thing got spun up for the purposes of Bitcoin Unlimited or one of those forks, and it was spun up like all of a sudden. And it was basically their press releases were certainly written by Bitmain and Bitcoin.com affiliates. I mean, it was obvious when they got spooled up. So to me, Via BTC is just a trick. I mean, they're just a joint venture between Roger and Jihan, in my opinion, and I've stated this for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know too much about their operations, so I can't comment too much. But it does look like there's a new CoinDesk article that just came out literally just now. Let's see. Let me pull this up over here, and it says Chinese power, state-owned Chinese power. Is denying All right, so this is Chinese power provider denies Bitcoin mining ban rumors. A state-owned electric utility in China is rebuffing rumors that Bitcoin mining has been deemed illegal by the government. Interesting. Oftentimes, though, you know, what happens in these things is that the government didn't fail to tell like one or more people, and then they find out later, and then their tune changes right away. So my guess is that's kind of what happened, but who knows? But this is sort of what CoinDesk is saying, is that, you know, there's no power, no mining ban, or something like that. But why would a power provider know? I don't know. Yeah, this, by the way, is the latest sort of mining on Bitcoin Cash. You can see that via BTC and Mempool are pretty much the ones that have been mining the last 6 hours or so.
They're pretty much one and the same.
Yeah. Well, there's also BTC.com, I think.
Well,
also
again, they're all pretty much one and the same. I mean, they're all working together. I mean, there's no such thing as decentralized mining on this thing.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, as it stands right now, because Bitcoin Cash is so unprofitable, you still need to wait like those 6 blocks, and that looks like it's taking a while, and it's on a block by block basis. So it doesn't quite adjust as dramatically as the emergency difficulty adjustment. It'll be interesting to watch the next few hours and see if you know, difficulty adjusts sufficiently. We could go to Blockdozer and see what the difficulty in the last few blocks was. So the current difficulty is what? Wow, 280 80 billion. Okay, that's pretty high. That's a really high, 290 billion. So there were a lot of people that were mining yesterday, and I think that pushed the difficulty up higher. And this is why it's a lot more profitable on Bitcoin, not Bitcoin Cash, because look at all these blocks from like yesterday. They were mining it away. And then, you know, it's we're gonna see stuff like this, right? Like where a lot of you know, I don't know if the hard fork will reduce this like fluctuation. I think that's actually a property of having 2 coins that are that share the same proof of work algorithm. So and the minority chain is definitely going to you know, suffer more in terms of fluctuation. So, and Bitcoin Cash is certainly the minority chain right now.
Yeah. So, see, what worries me here is that mining will be, I mean, if this is going to happen this way, right? And you know, there is restructuring in the Chinese mining. Some of that hardware has to move to, say, Mongolia or Siberia or whatever it's going, like assuming it's not going far, right? Assuming it's staying in the region, it's not going far. I think the biggest thing that changes here is, like you said, other countries have similar pricing for electricity. But if it takes, you know, 2-3 weeks for your miner to get there, that's half the profitability of that miner. I mean, I had this problem. Like when I ordered my miner from Canon, I had a little bit of a shipping issue. And then I had a little bit of a, you know, Tone is busy and Tone is an idiot setting up a miner issue. So my miner actually went online like 2 weeks after I said I'm buying, not 2 weeks, sorry, 2 months after I said, hey, I'm getting a miner. So I'm not sure if my miner will ever fully be profitable, but if I put it online immediately after, you know, committing to buying it, it would have been, it would have paid for itself already and making profit. But because I was 2 months behind, that might never happen. I mean, that's basically your window, right? And in this case, if you have a serious operation, even a week or 2 delay could be the difference between profits and losses. And that's a big difference between profits and losses. So the electricity in other countries has to be significantly cheaper. Like we're talking at least, you know, 75% cheap, 50 to 75% cheaper, if not 100% cheaper, because the amount of money you would lose by transferring that equipment and not immediately being able to put it on a grid is significant.
Yeah, it is. And you wonder like if it's almost worth it to have like a data center on a ship or something, just so you can like mine during the time
Well,
that
where
you're
do you get the
transporting.
electricity on a ship, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, people might start building ships with like, some kind of electro power to use the water as the. I mean, I don't know. People are gonna get creative. I know that, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And being able to, although, oh, man, like
well,
doing
like
anything electrical in water is just,
Right, like that's what
gets
I
really
always
tricky.
figured. Like this idea of like the shipping container by Bitfury, I always thought it was kind of ridiculous because the amount of energy it takes to move a ship from one side of the world to another is not exactly small, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we got ship power in Chile. Let's move the ship there. It takes like 2 weeks for the ship to get there. I mean,
Yeah.
what have you freaking gained, right?
Yeah, I really don't understand yeah, how it could work. Maybe with solar power, but I don't think it's nearly enough power. So I don't know. Maybe somebody like takes a decommissioned nuclear submarine and uses the power from those. But whatever the case, we do know that something is happening in China with regard to mining. We don't know exactly what it is, but I guess we'll see. But Tone, I would love to see some price analysis, man. That's what we're all waiting
How
for.
many live viewers you have now, man?
We have 400 live viewers,
Nice.
which
Dude,
is
I almost
awesome.
hit 3,000 the other day. I was doing
Oh,
on
dude.
Sunday. I went live. I hit 2,800 live. It was amazing.
Yeah, people are really interested in what's going to happen because there's a lot of uncertainty, and I think that's what causes people to tune into this
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm a little disappointed in the mempool. Let me do my screen share.
Mhm.
Like when I went to bed last night, we were like at 19 something megabytes in the Bitcoin mempool. I woke up this morning. I was hoping to see it closer to 10, but it looks like you were right, Jimmy, in that it is going down slower than I expected it to. But then again, if 30% of Bitcoin hash power did disappear, I mean, look at the blocks, right? I mean, it took time
Mhm.
between them. Though it wasn't bad, 2 minutes between blocks, a quick block. It's been 14 minutes since we found the block, but it is going down.
Mhm.
We're overdue for a block, so we will drop to like 17 megabytes, 17 something, closer to 18 though.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the thing, guys. This is all spam. Like, I can't believe people are buying into this bullshit. Like, right after the Bcash hard fork, there was this entire month window where almost every day I was worried about the mempool because it was bone dry. I mean, miners were mining blocks of like 200 kilobytes because that's all they needed to mine to
Mm.
clean out the mempool.
Mm. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and trust me, there hasn't been this massive consumer adoption in the last 30 days.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that said, the 30% that went offline, that definitely would have affected this because the blocks are just going to be slower. You said it's like we're overdue for a block because it's been 15 minutes. It's actually normal when you have 30% of it disappearing. That
Right.
takes it to about 14-minute blocks as it is. And we've had a slowdown in Bitcoin, and it's exacerbated by Bitcoin Cash being more profitable at times. So,
Right,
I mean,
and by spam,
yeah.
like this is the thing, right? It's you people have to see through the bullshit. People have to see through these. I mean, just look at your chat. I mean, you got Bcash people all in there, complaining about every little thing that you and I are saying right now. Like, I'm not sure why they're in there, but hey, if they got not, if they're getting paid to watch us and complain, then sure, right? Um,
Yeah, I have no
but
idea. But yeah, it's definitely sort of curious what's happened. It does look. Oh, I did get a super chat. Wow, thank you.
yeah, he did 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first super chat I've ever had. I turned it on yesterday because I guess I had more than 10,000 views of my videos or something. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. I am not going to use that for myself. I am going to pay people to make this channel better. So it's all going towards expenses. I'm not going to pay myself at all. So
Yeah. So is mine. I should have announced that. By the way, I've never cashed out a single dollar that my channel has earned, and it's all gonna go to paying people to manage the channel.
yeah.
Once I get around to it.
Yeah, neither Tone nor I want to make this about like earning money for ourselves. And if there's a way to sort of prove that, I definitely will. I'll probably like put screenshots of like how much that earned, and then like give a Bitcoin transaction to some person that I'm paying or whatever, so people know, hey, this is not, I'm not doing this for the money. I don't need to. And I would much rather have good information out there, and you know, this is sort of a way for you guys to support the channel in a way.
All right, so I know everyone's asking about the price, but like nothing has changed, guys. I mean, here's the weekly chart. Is this the weekly chart? Yeah, here's the weekly chart, right? Honestly, I was hoping we would fall to 5,000 early in this week, and then go back up by end of week to keep giving us these numbers, right? I mean, the numbers are green, so the weekly chart is technically still bullish. Now, the weekly chart has to, in 2 weeks, at the very end of November, has to close above 7,500, well, above 7,600 to be more specific, in order to give us that 9. Now, this 9, that if we get it, is actually a bearish sign. So in a way, you kind of want your counts to break, right? If I'm using this indicator, like you see how over here, we didn't actually make it to a 9. It was a 9 for like a day, and then the count broke. And it wasn't a bad thing because it set us up for a brand new count. So if this count breaks, if we have a couple of more bad weeks, it might actually be a good thing long term, because it's when you get these 9s, things go bad. So if you avoid getting a 9, it's actually not a bad thing from a momentum perspective. So we'll see. But right now, because I'm more focused on a daily chart, the daily chart remains bearish. Yes, I know we bounced, but there is nothing here that screams buy. Now, the biggest thing I want to point out is my view on the price was to get out. Let's treat this like any other asset. Forget the fact that it's Bitcoin, right? So if you exited this asset when you were supposed to exit, when I was saying it's time to take your profit, it was at 7,500. No one told you have to short it, even though there was opportunities to short it. But if you got out at 7,500 and you're looking to buy the dip, you want to buy the perfect dip, because if you buy in too early, you're then going to be sitting there losing money. So, but don't be scared about getting in back in late, because if you exited at 7,500, then you can wait till 7,500 to get back in, and then you lost nothing, right? So this is why I said, either I am looking to buy the dip at 5,000 or maybe lower, or I'll just wait for the breakout, because the number one rule is not to lose money. It isn't to make money. The number one rule is not to lose money, okay? So I cannot recommend Bitcoin as a buying opportunity at any level here, okay? I would wait until it breaks out and goes to all-time high and the FOMO starts, because remember, as long as Bitcoin is below like 7,000, bad news is going to keep rolling in. You know, Vitalik is going to get together with the Zcash guys and the Decred guys. And I mean, Fluffy still likes Bitcoin, and Satoshi Light. Charlie still likes Bitcoin. But everybody else, every other altcoiner hates Bitcoin's guts. They're all happy to, it's the same thing I said about the core development, right? I mean, when you're playing the game of Survivor, right? I'm sure a lot of our viewers have watched that show. It starts off with like 20 people. Yes, you want to get the annoying weaklings out. But once you're down to 10 people on that island, you want to vote off the strongest guy. That's your biggest threat. So you have a chance of winning the money. It's just how competition works, right? You want to break the leg of the strongest guy playing, right? So that you can win the MVP. So it's kind of how it works, okay? So none of these people want Bitcoin, Okay. And if you read between the lines, you should be able to pick that up. So that means that bad news is going to roll in. This China news is going to be, I mean, I think of it as great. Like if you're complaining about centralization of mining in China, you want the government to crack down on this bullshit, right? I was complaining about Chinese fake volume. I was very happy when China cracked down on that bullshit. I hated ICOs. I really liked it when China cracked down on bullshit ICOs, right? And if you are, I never complained about Chinese centralization of mining, but a lot of you guys complained about the Chinese centralization of mining. So you should be happy that the Chinese government's going to come in and potentially end all mining in China, right? Because you can't have it both ways. So that's all I'm saying. So this could be seen as good news. This could be seen as bad news. But those that don't like Bitcoin are going to FUD. And those that like Bitcoin are going to try to spin it in a good way. I am going to stick to my technicals. And my technicals are saying there's no technical reason to buy Bitcoin right now, right? If we're looking at the daily, it's funny, like on my last video, I moved this arrow to be steeper. And the moment I did, Bitcoin jumped. I'm like, God damn it. But either way, right? Like, look, if this count breaks and gives us a green one, that means the short trade is no longer on the table, but that doesn't mean that that there is a reason to buy it yet. Right now, Bitcoin is totally neutral, but the short trade could have been entered right here. So your short trade is still profitable. I mean, you set your break-even stop loss and you wait. I still think Bitcoin has more downside right here than upside. I don't think we bottomed, even though it's possible. And if we did bottom, then I will have a bullish trade even before 7,500 with the time indicator, because I'll get a green 1 and then I'll get a green 2 with a higher high, giving me a stab at the bullish trade. And then I can add to that bullish trade at 7,500 all-time high close and stuff like that. Okay. So the daily trade remains slightly bearish in my opinion. If I go to the 4-hour chart, I mean, look, I know it looks fancy, but actually, I'm not even sure why that line's there. I don't really need it. I don't know why there's 2 lines there. Let me delete that one. I have no idea why. I don't know. I don't remember. But look, you have this line right at 7,000. This was the breakdown line. This was the line that we crossed and shit just fell apart. So you have to get at least back above that line to even consider Bitcoin as a bullish trade. As long as we're staying below that line, it's just a lower high. It's just a lower high. I mean, you can almost start drawing in bearish trend lines here. Like I know some short positions probably took a big hit on this move, but that's because Bitcoin fell kind of much. And it bounced. I mean, it's probably a little early to draw this trend line, but I'll put it there just to make it clear to people that there is nothing bullish in these charts. Yes, we bounced $1,000, but that's because we fell 2,000. I mean, this isn't how this isn't how giant rallies begin. Like until I see some serious bullish signs, I have no reason to rush into it. And the hourly chart is just stagnant. And I don't see anything here, so it's kind of useless.
How about Bitcoin Cash? Are a lot of people?
Are you really going to make me do that? I mean, look, freaking MarketWatch just wrote an article about how wrong I was on Bitcoin Cash, which is unfortunate, right? Because I tried to explain to the MarketWatch guy that being wrong about Bitcoin Cash is like being, wrong about Bernie Madoff making money for 20 years. Like if it's an unsustainable Ponzi, it's an unsustainable Ponzi, right? Like if Bcash is like a fork with no development and no ability to compete globally as a decentralized altcoin. And honestly, I don't think there is a competition for Bitcoin. I don't think any of the other projects are decentralized anywhere near the degree that Bitcoin is. And I mean, if it's garbage, it's garbage. I mean, the price doesn't matter, right?
I think maybe some people want to know when to get rid of their Bitcoin Cash. If there's sort of a good selling opportunity.
Look, I got rid of my Bitcoin Cash like 4 or 5 days in. I made 10% on my Bitcoin, and I'm happy. I'm happy I got that because it fell all the way to 5% of the value of a Bitcoin, right?
Mm.
And someone made a good analogy. It's like people are complaining that I didn't tell them that Bitcoin Cash was a buying opportunity, right? Which is amazing. And someone had a great analogy on my Twitter. Said, "Hey, so if Tone talked you out of betting your entire life savings on red 35 on a roulette table, but then a red 35 hit on the roulette table, did he just prevent you from being rich?" Right?
Yeah. No, you got to think a little bit more probabilistically. But that said, I mean, I've been looking at the charts, trying to figure out what's going on. It looks like a bunch of pumps to me. Like there's a lot of volume on the way down.
Yeah, look, I can't like if I know Bcash is like a centralized scam, like I don't know how people want me to analyze it. Like I analyzed it down here.
Mm-hmm.
To me, once you go below the prior low, you're going down. Probabilistically, Bcash was going to keep going to zero, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I don't control their pumping. It's grossly overbought. I'm gonna say the same thing I say at all highs. I mean, this is how things stop. You get 1 hour to get out, and people couldn't even get out, right? Because these same people spammed the Bitcoin mempool, so you couldn't actually get your Bitcoin moved around as easily to sell the Bcash. Now, in reality, in my little Skype group, when this 9 and this 13 came around, I posted as a joke in my personal groups for consulting clients, hey, anybody want to buy Bcash? It's technically bottoming based on my indicators that it should go up. And everyone knew I was joking and everyone laughed it off. But look, the signs were there. But look, it's also like I said on my Twitter. I mean, if all of a sudden cow manure was an amazing investment, but you had to take possession of it and store it in your house, are you going to do it, right? But I mean, I wouldn't, but some people might. So that's the thing, right? I mean, look, the signs are there, but to me, it can go to zero any day. Like the only reason why I hold Bitcoin is because I believe in Bitcoin, and I don't think it's going to go to zero. It can go to zero tomorrow, but I don't believe that it will. Not only can Bcash go to zero tomorrow, I believe that it will. So I would never, ever put any risk into something like Bcash or Zcash or any other altcoin. I mean, sure, I accept Litecoin as donations and stuff, but once it accumulates to any kind of money I don't want to lose, which is like $100, $1,000. And I haven't gotten any Litecoin donations. I got like I think $20 in Litecoin donations in the last 2 months. So it's not like we're talking real money here, right? But the moment there's any real money in Litecoin, I sell that too.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because I don't trust those projects. I don't trust those assets. It's the same reason I don't buy and trade penny stocks. I'll trade Amazon and Apple and Google any day. I'm not going to trade, a $3 penny stock.
Yeah, I mean, some people obviously do, but that's definitely not your style, Tone, for sure. Wow, interesting stuff. Anyway, I think that's, I'd like to thank the 500 live viewers. Please give me a subscribe and a thumbs up if you found this useful. I'm going to try this every day for a little bit and see how it goes. Thank you, Tone, for joining me today. Any last words before I sign off?
No, that's it, man. Hey, thanks for getting me up and getting me from my computer this morning. Bitcoin price already starting to go down. Here come my tweets. I'm going to be accused of manipulating the market again. Like, it's funny, and I'm used to this, guys. Like a lot of you don't know, but I was a bear on Bitcoin most of 2014. And I can still show you the hate mail from 2014, where we were going down from 800 all the way down to 100. and I kept writing articles in Cointelegraph how the charts are looking bearish, and people used to hate me. So I'm not new to coming into the world of Bitcoin on a with hate mail.
Yeah, and you're from Wall Street. You have to have kind of thick skin for that sort of thing. All right. So anyway, thank you guys all for watching, and this song is done.